New with Adobe Live, the new schedule, social channels, YouTube, Instagram, and everything else here on Adobe Office Hours. What's up, everybody?
Happy New Year, dude.
Happy New Year, Nicholas. Welcome to Office Hours. Nick, what's different about today?
Today?
It's a new day.
2024.
It's 2024. It's a new year and a new day.
And a new day for Office Hours.
And a new day for Office Hours. It is at the same time, though. So 1 p.m. on Thursdays. Now, every Thursday at 1 p.m., we will be here on Adobe Live. And Nick, we are starting off the new year, and we have, again, a confession to make. Nick, what's a confession about today's episode?
So sorry, but today is a pre-recorded one, just a day in advance.
It's true. And here's why. You may have seen me earlier today. I'm going to be in the studio in San Francisco. So because we're on Thursdays now, we make it a little more sprinkled in there, but we want you to engage with us. And the best way to do that is floating down below us, and that is in our Discord. So you can go to discord.gg/ACC, and our Discord, it looks like this. We're all talking there, hanging out, having a good time, and Nick and I will be in the Discord hanging out. I'll be there chatting with you all. If you have questions, if you want to contribute to the stream, you can do it over in the chat, which will be right there, or you can come and join us in the Discord. Nick, there's some new stuff, some more Mas Nuevo about Adobe Office Hours. What is the format of the show going to be? We're going to be changing a little bit from topical into a little more Adobe Live centric. What are we going to be doing here on Thursday afternoons?
That's a good question, because I don't know if you've technically shared it with us.
I love this. I love this. This is my favorite thing to do. Welcome to Office Hours. So we are going to be showing off some of the best stuff of Adobe Live that week.
Wait,
so we'll
insert funny Wade comment in the comments right now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Wade. Yeah, Wade will take care of a funny comment right there. And for those of you that are new, Wade is our moderator. We love Wade, who might not be our moderator now that we're on Thursdays. Oh no. Okay, well, if it's not Wade, moderator, say hi. New moderator, say hi if it's not Wade. Anyway, yes, we're going to be recapping a little bit of what happened that week on Adobe Live. So if you can't tune in, or you're going to miss some stuff, or you can't watch the whole time, we'll try to give you a recap of things that happened during that week. And this will be our hour to hang out. We'll talk about design stuff. We'll still have some of the same content that we have, but we'll start out by recapping the week of Adobe Live, showing you some of the hottest tips and tricks that happened that week, and highlighting some of our community shows, which will be a good time.
It's a good best of the week kind of wrap up.
Yes,
right?
It is just all hits. It is the all-stars hits. It's honestly the Adobe Live Awards every week.
Yes, it's the best of. It's the award show. It's everything. You name it.
100%.
And you name it.
So today's episode, we are talking all about how to get involved with Adobe Live. And some of you have noticed already, there have been a lot of changes with Adobe Live. We have an entirely new schedule right now. And we're going to go through that schedule, give you the inside scoop, and then even give you a little taster of some of the things that you'd be working on. A little sampling, just a little. We're walking around Costco together, and Nick and I will have our little hairnets on, and we'll have our little trays passing out samples of the Adobe Live schedule.
In a little paper cup.
Exactly. Tiny little paper cup. Welcome to Adobe Office Hours. So I do want to start out and show off the YouTube channel and some ways that you can get involved with Adobe Live. So here are the options to get involved with Adobe Live. First of all, right here, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. And YouTube is really, really great place to be if you want to maybe listen to the stream and engage in the chat, or sometimes we'll do polls. So Nick, let's do this.
Let's do one.
In chat, if this doesn't work, that means that I am somewhere else. If it does, then great on us. So here's what we're going to do. Right now, we're going to run a poll on YouTube. Nick, what do we want the poll to be?
What's your number one resolution for the new year?
Okay, so what is your resolution for the new year, chat? I'm going to put a couple options in there. Nick, what resolution do you have?
I would say more work-life balance. Could be one.
I'm going to say more fitness.
Yes.
and then maybe travel more. So there are going to be three options. And Nick, can you point up, like not all the way, but like mid forehead right there? So chat, if you go hover over where Nick's fingers are, the title of this video should pop up if you're watching on Behance. And let's all go over to YouTube together and vote on the poll. So that poll will be going up, and we're just practicing for later in the year. We'll be doing a lot more polls. All you need to do is, if you want to go to YouTube, the mod will put the link in the chat, or you can click on the title of the video and it'll take you to that poll. You can vote and you can engage with us live. Nick, what are some ways that we have done polls in the past for people to work with us and engage with the stream live?
We've been doing it for like different options, different copywriting options, you name it. Maybe color palettes that we've been messing around with a live demo. Even around the holidays, I think we've done some things. And then just you having random ones going, what's your favorite, movie of all time?
Why not? Yeah. So go check out that poll. I'll leave it running for a few minutes. In the future Andrew doing a great job behind the scenes. So we'll let that poll run to get you familiar with that. And we will be running those more throughout the year across all of our shows here on Adobe Live. We also will be venturing back to Twitch a little bit. So we'll be mixing and matching there. Office hours, our regulars, you may see some new faces. And Nick, where would those new faces be from?
Ooh, from the Creative Cloud family? I don't know.
Close. Twitch. So we may be streaming to Twitch and co-streaming there. And so if you see some new faces, it's because of Twitch. Nice. Yes, which would be a great time. So keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for Twitch, and it will be some new faces. All right. What else is new? Oh, you can also engage by going to this place. Nick, what do we do here? What's this place?
This is a little area called Instagram. And
Yes.
Of course, there are obviously great spots to check out. If there's anything you missed or great key moments or new faces, new advice, a great way to see how everything is doing there. And in case you missed something, but also a great place to keep up to date on a daily basis, right?
Yep. So
Yeah.
go follow the Instagram account, and whatever the latest post is, just go leave a comment there and let them know that Office Hours sent you. So go to the Instagram account, follow, and then let them know that Office Hours sent you to say hi. All right, so let's hop over into the main part of the episode, and that is going to be the schedule. So chat, if you have questions, please put them in chat. We know that the schedule is a little bit different than it has been in past years. Please put those in there. Nick, what is your take on the schedule? Before we show it, what is your take? What is your setup? How do you feel about things?
I like the whole idea of just knowing where and when different things in different kind of categories are. In particular, I think we all know like certain things about maybe things that we watch and when certain things drop. So what better way to kind of know where things that you might be interested in are going to be, and you get into a routine, right?
Yep.
That's the best part.
So here is what you need to know. Adobe Live has a new calendar and a new schedule that is based on different categories and different programs. So every single Monday, the entire day will be motion focused. We'll be in Premiere and After Effects. Every Tuesday's graphic design, that will be focused in Illustrator. Photoshop will be on Wednesday with maybe a little illustration sprinkled in there as well. And on Thursdays, we are hanging out in the studio live from San Francisco, covering Adobe Express and Adobe Firefly, and maybe some Photoshop and maybe some Illustrator. And Fridays are a really fun time. Fridays are going to be called Free Play Fridays, excuse me. Fridays are going to be called Free Play Fridays, and we are going to be doing who knows what. Every week is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be time
experimental,
right? Experimental. It's going to be some time for you to hang out, and maybe you are taking on a challenge with our host, and maybe you're just hanging out and working. And maybe if you want to join me tomorrow, we are doing an hour of the Pomodoro method of setting a goal and checking in every 10 minutes. And by the end of the stream, we will all have created something together. So tune in on Fridays at any point in the day, and you'll get to catch some kind of different content that you maybe haven't seen here on Adobe Live before.
There you go. I might pull up a little pasta and join you for the Pomodoro time.
Pomodoro pasta. I love a good Pomodoro pasta.
Can I concentrate on cooking for 20 minutes and then come back and show you what I made?
So Nick, let's go ahead and walk through one of these days, and we're going to walk through what the things are, and then we'll maybe go through and give you a little bit of a preview of what that would look like. So Nick, what does Monday through Wednesday look like? What's the rundown here?
I like that you have given the creative kickoff. That's kind of a nice way to kind of start your day. And in that particular area of Monday and being all about motion, I'm assuming this is going to be something great to kind of kick off your inspiration. And it's 30 minutes, right? That's
Yep.
a perfect kind of little window as well.
Exactly. So this is the time
Mhm.
for you to grab your coffee, to tune in. Usually this will be hosted by an evangelist. So you get to hang out with Jason Levine, Paul Tranny, Terry White, and you'll be able to just have some coffee, hang out, get started, get those creative juices pumping. And this used to be a masterclass slot. And so we thought, who wants a masterclass at 9 a.m.? We
Yeah,
want
come
you
on,
to
man.
be able, right? It's a little too early. So we want you to be able to start out your creative day and just get into the flow. And then after that, we're doing a weekly challenge. And Nick, what is the weekly challenge? I think that you've done some of these before, maybe.
Yeah, these are great. This is going to have some kind of like, common ground where it comes to doing a challenge weekly. And you can like compare with all the other people, including the host and all the other users, as far as the results of what you've been doing for that challenge. What's a
Yep.
good example of something that you've done recently?
Yeah, so usually the challenges had been daily, and
Hmm.
then they kind of went bi-weekly, and so now they are going weekly. So every single week at 9:30, you'll be able to do that challenge. I've done some things like showing people how to do generative recolor. We've covered. I remember I just did how to use the warp tools in Adobe
Oh, yeah.
Illustrator. So if you're looking to get started in a program, it is a great time to tune in at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, depending on what you want to learn. And every single week, there will be a new challenge for you on that day. And at the end of the month, we'll recap everything. So if you're working on things throughout the month, or you can only tune in, the last Friday of every month will be a community recap where you can get all the information that you missed or celebrate the work that you've done over the last month.
Amazing.
So after that, all right, so we're getting our juices flowing with the creative kickoff. We got our coffee. Then we're moving to the weekly challenge. We're getting a little, just dipping our toes in. And then we go full cannonball. And Nick, what happens during pro tips? I know that you've done some of these. I think for packaging, you've done some pro tips.
Yeah, it's kind of a really good condensed version about one particular thing by a great professional in that complete genre. And it's a deep dive. It's going to show you all those little things. I know we all have different ways of kind of like having shortcuts and unique tips that kind of help with our process, maybe our speed, maybe our communication. A great little spot to kind of learn a ton from the people who know how to do it best.
Yep. And if you want to tune in for pro tips again, you're starting your day off. We've got a little bit of coffee, then we're dipping our toe into a weekly challenge, and then pro tips is we're in the day. We're ready, we're learning, we're trying something new, and pro tips is always focused on one thing. So we'll never be all over the place, you'll never be learning a whole bunch. It will be a deep dive on one program or one tool within that program. From there, we go into a creative workflow, and creative workflows are just the regular streams that you see on Adobe Live all the time. It's something that we'll bring on a guest, we'll watch them work, and then be able to glean information from them. Nick, have you watched any streams on Adobe Live that was a special guest or things that have taught you something or you've learned from one of the creative workflows?
Yeah, I think there've been many that were in areas that maybe I'm not too familiar with. I know there's been a ton in Lightroom. I think those
Yes.
were great to kind of see as well. And then even just some unique ones on Adobe Express, and kind of because I'm still kind of like, I think that's ever changing and there's so many new features all the time. To me, I've seen some really good ones in there, but I'd have to go with some of the more photography based ones because I think that's the one area I'm really weak in, you know?
Yep. So if you want to see some great creatives, you can tune in to see them working during the creative workflow time from 10:30 a.m. to noon, and from noon to 1. This is a new segment show that will be happening, and this is going to be Adobe Live Spotlight. And so we're going to be bringing on designers and creatives that are worthy of the spotlight. I believe last week we had on Aaron Draplin. Next week we're having on Meg Lewis. I know that Amy and Jen Hood of Hoodspa Design are coming on, and these are going to be more of an interview kind of style hangout. So this is something that if you want to, maybe you're kind of taking a lunch break, you're hanging out, this is something you can turn on every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to listen to some words from a creative. And again, they'll all be in these categories. So Monday will always be someone in video, Tuesday always a designer, and Wednesday always someone who is in photography or illustration. So tune in for the spotlights. They're going to be really great, big names coming in, and it'll be fun. And at the end of the day, we got community shows. And Nick, speaking of community shows, what's a great example of a community show?
Maybe a little thing called office hours.
That's right. So, community shows are shows that are run by members of our community. And it's stuff like office hours, a little off the wall, a little fun, not necessarily getting too deep into programs. And sometimes we do, but we're here for advice. We're here for fun. We're here to engage with you and just have a good time. So, that's how you can kind of wind down your day. So, start your day with a creative kickoff, grab some coffee, get creative, and then wind down your day at 1 p.m. Pacific time with the community show. So, here's this. Give a screenshot. I will drop it in Discord as well. And I do want to talk about Thursday and Friday, but we'll get there in a second because I want to give a little sample, right? You've walked through enough aisles. I think they've earned a sample, right, Nick?
Yeah, I think so. What do we got first?
Why am I so low on the screen? I feel like I gradually shrink throughout the episode.
Well, everyone thinks when they meet us, I'm the tall one and you're the short one.
It's true. I am very tall, chat. If you do not know this, I am very tall. So if we ever run into each other at a conference and Nick is there, it might be a little jarring. I'm a monster. All right, so let's hop in and let's maybe do a preview of what a weekly challenge would look like. Ooh. So let's show one tool. And Nick, let's do, what do you say, 30, maybe like a 30 seconds to a minute of a weekly challenge. And Nick and I, we've kind of prepared this. We've had the idea of this, but you're going to get, and this is what we do on office hours, is we are going to come up with something to teach you off the bat, because that's what we want to do. We want to teach you things, and hopefully you love that. So here is your preview of what a weekly challenge may be like. And Nick, what program are you going to be working in?
I'll be an Illustrator.
Okay, you're going to be an Illustrator. I'm going to open up Photoshop. Give me just a second here. While I open this, Nick, give us some inspiration. Just any inspiration to start off the new year. What's your vibe going into this new year?
Oh, man, to be more brave and more unconventional.
Ooh, brave and unconventional. Yeah, I like that.
It was my break kind of got me to think, like, how do you take designs to the next level? And I know that's a very cliche thing that we that's kind of been our tagline.
Take it to the next level.
But let me tell you, there's a lot of good design going on out there. And I just think having the downtime over the last few weeks has allowed me to really, really look and see the difference and to get the inspiration. So that's for me.
Cool. 100%. All right. So we are ready, and we are going to be giving a preview of what a weekly challenge may be like. Nick is going to be doing Illustrator. I'm going to be doing Photoshop. So I think we should go and do it. All right. So we know, chat, we know that this is going to get cut out of the episode. So just bear with us. Hold on. You can be the live studio audience, chat. You can laugh. You can give us all that feedback. We're going to throw in and just pretend like this is so organic and that it isn't something that we know is going to get cut out of the episode. All right, here we go. Chat, this is for you, just secretly. It's for everyone else, but chat, it's for you. All right, Nick, so we have this new thing on Adobe Live called Weekly Challenges, where we learn something new each week during a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday video, design, or photo. So let's go ahead and hop in. What does it look like when we do an Illustrator weekly challenge?
Ooh, I will show you.
This is Photoshop. What does it look like when we do an Illustrator weekly challenge?
We might be doing something as simple as this. We might be building a carousel ad or post for Instagram, right? So it might be something as simple as this, is to kind of like starting a few artboards and then building off them and using artboards to create those seamless, beautiful case studies that we want to put on Instagram. So one of the things I'm kind of currently working on is that idea of taking something as simple as your artboard and you're just recreating them and bringing them closer right up to each other. The best thing you can do here is when you go into your page setup and you're going to do like a new document, the one thing you're going to do is you're going to kind of set up your 8x8 piece. You're going to do maybe 5 artboards. And the key is to go here into more settings and hit your spacing to 0. And then you want your columns to go to 5 because that's how many artboards you have. And then boom, you get your base to kind of start it off there. So it might be just simple little tips like this to kind of get you started and going like, that's how I build my new carousel. And then you can kind of experiment, place these up. Maybe what I've been doing too, I don't know about you, is I do my 3 to be the big tile on the top of like one row. But then each artboard I take and I duplicate, and now I make a carousel behind each one of those. So I'm actually making 3 posts, and each post has 5 to 6 pieces on a carousel after.
Magic. So
Yeah.
if you want more information, you can actually access all of our creative challenges at behance.net/challenge/illustrator/photoshop or/video. And you can click to get notifications when new challenges are released. You also can scroll down here and see what challenges are live right now. You see there are 4, and that is going to be 1 per week. And then you can also join the community chat, which will be our Discord, to post your work, to get feedback, and to just level up your skills with us here on Adobe Live.
Love it.
Ooh, that was good. Ooh, that was a good one. We landed that. We killed it. All right, chat. Let me give you a preview to what a Photoshop weekly challenge might look like. So let's do Photoshop weekly challenge preview, exclusive here on Adobe Live Office Hours with Nick and Andrew. All right, here we go.
Let's go.
So our weekly challenges happen in Illustrator, in Premiere Pro, in After Effects, and Photoshop. And here's what it would look like if we were doing a short little weekly challenge in Photoshop. I teach you how to use the gradient tool. So we have a new layer over here, and we are going to hit G and then click and drag right there to the gradient tool. You can see that our foreground and background colors are set, and that is the gradient that we're going to use. And so I'm just going to click and drag, and you can see in Photoshop, it now has live gradients, which is really cool. So we can click and drag out this gradient and then grab the line to move it around. We also can change where the gradient transitions by moving that little node right there.
Such a fun tool.
And I do want to lock it to the text underneath. So all I need to do is hit the Alt or Option key between these layers, and it will lock into the versus text that I have right there. And then I can adjust this gradient and get the perfect look for that type. So right there, we have created very quickly a gradient inside type using the gradient tool and clipping a layer to a text layer below it. There we go. Great example of what a Photoshop weekly challenge would be. It'd be a little bit longer, a little more in depth, but that's just a little taster. So that is the idea. You get it. We love it. Tell your friends.
Share, like, subscribe.
Yes. Moderator is going to put in behance.net/challenge/illustrator/photoshop/video so that you can set your reminders for that. And again, every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. is when that content is going to be happening. So let's maybe show a little preview of what a pro tips could be. Nick, do you have a pro tip?
Ooh, I think I might have one.
Okay, so we're going to do some pro tips. Let me open up real quick something in Photoshop. And we are going to give you some pro tips and show you the difference between what the last stream was, right? The last preview. We kind of showed you something a little bit basic. Let's show you a pro tip that is going to be a little more advanced. And this will be a test. So a little preview, a little sample, a little snack, if you will.
Yes.
And the difference between the weekly challenges and the pro tips. Pro tips are a little more difficult, a little more advanced, and pro tips generally don't have a Discord that people are posting their work. It's just for you to glean information and learn something. So Nick, give us a preview of what a pro tip segment. Hold on, let me try that again. Give us a preview of what a pro tips segment may look like.
All right, I gotcha. So here's what I'm going to do. This is a current artboard we're working on for some projects. And my favorite new tool of the year has to be generative color, because there is something so great about being able to take something and make a few different options on it really quickly. So let's say right now we have this, but the client is asking for something very specific when it comes to the color palettes here. So if we go right up here and go into recolor artwork, we get our new thing here, go over to generative recolor, and give me a prompt. Give me something that, like, something tasteful, something we can try to match in our colors.
Ooh, I want candy corn. Candy corn, neon candy corn. That's what I want. Neon candy corn.
Let's do that. So all you got to do, guys, is just go right into here. Neon candy corn. We're going to pop it here. Hit the prompt. Everything I've selected now is being looked at and will be regenerated into a few color options based on what Andrew just said. Look at this. So let's see what we got. Oh, hey, ooh. Come on. Look at these color palettes. We're getting, like, so quick and instantaneously. Oh, man.
Ooh, that's good.
Now, here's happy mistakes, right? Because it might not be, like, here's one that's a little bit on the candy corn side. Maybe this one too.
It's probably putting neon candy as the priority.
Yeah, exactly. And I think maybe you're right. Maybe if we put neon candy and what's another, let's see, retro.
Yeah, let's try that. Ooh, yes, retro or vintage or even like
You just
muted
never know. You just
usually
never know.
gets you into that zone as well.
Ooh, I see some good ones already. Look at that. Mixing up the green's got a little bit more magenta in there. Look at this. This is so great. Now, this is neat. It keeps them going. So notice we got our first set of 4 and our second set of 4. So it keeps the history of everything you're messing around with. And what's nice about this is I'm finding, and I will completely admit it, it is making color palettes and combinations that I might not have had thought of in the first place.
Yes.
So
And
I
it
love this. This
sometimes
is my
throws out really unconventional stuff that I think looks
yeah.
really cool.
And
So,
a way to do it uniformly, particularly when you have a brand done and you don't want to go in there and fine tune. You duplicate, have some fun with generative recolor. It's a
yep.
blast.
So, an example of pro tip segment in Adobe Illustrator. Let's do one real quick, a pro tip segment preview sample snack in Photoshop. So here's what a pro tip segment looks like that happens every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So we are here in Adobe Photoshop, and I'm going to show you how to retouch and bring some light into a face using nothing more than a single layer. So we are going to hit Control-Shift-N to make a new layer. You also can click right here for a new layer. We're going to change the blending mode here to overlay, and then fill with an overlay neutral color 50% gray. We'll hit OK, and now nothing happened, but there has been a new layer that's been created. So from there, we're going to hit O or come over here to our burn and dodge tool. And this is going to allow us to bring out some highlights or darken pieces. So I'm going to go and maybe just bring a little bit more light into his face. You see that's really, really bright. I'm going to change my exposure up here to about 50%. And now I can come in and maybe brighten up just under the eyes, a little bit in the face there. And then maybe I want to darken some pieces. I can grab the burn tool by just clicking and holding and going to the burn tool right there. Maybe I want to burn in this beard line just a little bit, kind of darken things up. And you can see the before and after here by turning this layer on and off. We've added a little bit more pop, some very localized clusters of manual augments on this photo. So that is an example of what a pro tip segment might look like. Again, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time here on Adobe Live.
Love it.
Yes. Got it. Yes. Killed it. Okay, Nick is like ready to do another thing. And I was going to suggest this for the pro tips in chat.
Yeah.
I can see Nick's screen when we're doing the show. You can't, so I know what's coming, which makes it really fun. I have all the information, and sometimes I just make sure that I can hold it all so tightly. So let's give you a look. Yes. So after pro tips is the creative workflow segment. And let's do a quick creative workflow with Nick Longo. Ooh, a creative work glow.
Something was there.
Workongo. So
I was gonna say one, but no.
Nope. Okay, so this is going to be a good example of what a creative workflow would look like. So Nick, take it away. What does a creative workflow stream that it happens from 10:30 to 12 p.m. Pacific time every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on Adobe Live? What does that look like?
So workflow could be as simple as finding a new way to do something super quick, particularly when the client wants to see something kind of in real life. So this new feature here for mockup is so great in Illustrator. So I've just brought over a raster image of a blank box. Let's say that's the one that the client is looking for. And I could take this little area here that's kind of, this is what we might like. I'm going to make duplicate here. We will ungroup it. And I'm just going to get this little area right there. Okay. So let's get this, delete it, and we'll bring our box back up here. Now, let's say I'm just going to make this the same size here because this is kind of like my front cover. We'll reevaluate everything here. And that looks about the right size, I would say. Looking good.
Pretty close.
All right, cool. We grab this. We take off our guide, and I'm just going to group that. So now I have this. Now, bring it to the front. You can see what you're doing. There it is. Now watch this. All I'm going to do is take this and select that at the same time. If we go to object, we have a new feature here called mockup, and this beta here will actually make it together. When I release here, what it's going to do is it's going to kind of assess the photo, make sure it's getting the perspective down and everything. And now what it's going to do is it's going to allow me to take this like a label, like it's a sticker or whatever it is, and I can move this right on the box, and we'll make it a little bit bigger so we can see. The coolest factor too here is all you got to do is just kind of rotate it a little bit too, and you can get it right to where you want. And I'm just going to keep making it a little bit bigger here. And that's all you got to do is stretch this. It kind of reminds you of, what do you call it? Dimension, when you're at that point where you got that circle here and you're just making things a little bit bigger. Grab the anchors. You can see I probably have, if I got this the right exact size, it would match perfectly to that piece as well. Click off of here, and I've got something started. So I can definitely do that. I can work with perspectives a little bit, get that here. But the cool thing about it is you can just try something out really quick and see how it's going to look on a particular box, and any little changes and things you have to do to make sure that certain things don't fly over the corners or whatever. It's just a great quick tip to make sure your process and your flow is a little bit faster.
So that's an example of what a creative workflow stream would look like. Again, every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific time here on Adobe Live. And Mondays, always motion. Tuesdays, always design. And Wednesdays, always some kind of Photoshop, photography, Lightroom workflow. So thank you so much, Nick. That was a great little workflow.
Hey.
All right, so let's continue on, chat. Hopefully you're here with us. Hopefully you're having fun and enjoying your time with the little preview of what's new at Adobe Live. Let's do one more, and then we're going to do some highlights. Nick, let's do one more thing, and that is going to be, oh, yes. Oh, we totally have it. That is going to be something that we like to call an artist spotlight. I like that Nick was just gone for a second. So we're doing an artist spotlight. So this is something that we're going to be doing throughout the week, every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on Adobe Live. We're bringing on big name guests like Aaron Draplin, Amy and Jen Hood from Hoodspa Design. We got Meg Lewis, Nick Longo from Longo Designs is on the episode today. So this is what a spotlight would look like. We do a little bit of an interview. We take a look at some of their work. And Nick, let's talk about you. Let's walk through a project real quick. And I want to walk through this Chop It Up project because I think this is really good work. Can you tell us a little bit about your inspiration, kind of where you went with this, and what was the process of this project?
Sure. The whole idea was this make your own kind of wrap, salad, bowl, restaurant concept. And they definitely wanted something fun, something bright. Particularly, they were spaced in between two locations that were a little on the dreary side. And this used to be a Subway. So we knew color and we knew pops of color and animation and fun were going to really be exciting. We went with this archetype called the magician. It kind of like everything they do has a magical solution. It's a way you can make anything, whatever your dietary concern is, you can make a beautiful meal out of this. And you can just see even the colors of the photography we took in the store and everything really almost play off of the colors of the brand. And we got to do everything from wall murals to, we even wrapped a Tesla. It was fantastic. That's their delivery kind of service.
That's cool.
Which was really cool. I believe it was the first one ever wrapped with kind of individual pieces. So they went all around. We did merch. We did in-store packaging and everything. But what I love about this too is it really played off of the idea of great typography. We have this really great Talk Veggies to Me mural when you walk in on the right. Even the fun like wax paper wrap for the sandwiches. And to me, this is exactly what I love doing the best out of branding. Did a cool little sticker page for the kids. Stickers. So they get a little sticker sheet. And then a lot of it too is just using the great stuff that you get to do. Like this crate is completely fake, but I wanted to show off more than what I just did for the client. I want to show off how flexible the brand is. So we always talk about like your case study and everything does not have to be everything that comes just from the project. You could do some extra fun stuff, which is really, really cool.
Sorry, so I was gonna put you on blast. Where did it go? What is happening here?
What happened?
It's there's text that just says artboard 6ciu.jpg.
Don't you put that in your background kind of?
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, I forgot about that being. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
That's a pro tip, guys.
Yeah, pro tip.
Label all of your JPEGs artboard 5.
Yes. So Nick, as we continue this little sample of a spotlight, what got you into design? I know that you have a long history, like at least 45 years in the industry.
Yes, thank you.
What got you into design?
my dad was an architect, and I love the idea of that you could be a creative and have a job. And secondly, I'd have to say it was Legos. I mean, Legos are everything.
Lego.
There's my little right there's my little office set up right there. Love that.
That is so cool.
I think it's everybody you talk to, anybody I've asked that question to the same. It was always some inspiration they got from someone who was a creative that they got to see as an adult. And that meant they can make a living out of it. It wasn't just, they weren't just an artist, but also too, was there some cool building block or toy or something that you used that allowed you to express your creativity and not follow rules and a playbook, right? It was always like, what can you make up yourself?
Yep.
So, and then logos. I think logos to me, they spoke to me even as a kid. The toy companies of the past and all those, like those are memory burns as a kid, right? Like that's exactly what you like. So
Yep.
that's what started.
That's a little preview of a spotlight that you might see every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time here on Adobe Live. And Nick, of course, the end. What is a great example of, we don't even need to give you a sample of a community show. What's a community show look like?
Right here, baby.
This. It's a little chaotic, a little fun, a little different. And I do want to show you on our YouTube channel just kind of what community shows we have running right now. Yes. So if you go to the YouTube channel, you can scroll down. You can actually look at playlists if you wanted to. And I believe that there is a community show playlist. No, look, they are individual. So we have a show called Juxtapaint that is actually changing to be Creative Mad Libs starting tomorrow morning. And Creative Mad Libs is going to be the sister show to Office Hours. So we are going to have a lot of connection with them at the end of each of our episodes. We're going to give you something to send to them to get started on the next morning. So we can maybe throw them off a little bit, see what we can do, have a fun little rivalry, and who knows, we may have some collaborations with them, some crossover episodes.
Hey.
We also have a great show by the one and only Wade Acuff, one of my favorite shows here on Adobe Live, Adventure Bound. And so
that doesn't
Wade,
just say him in a nutshell.
Yes.
I don't know what does.
Yes. Adventure Bound is all about Wade kind of coming up with the ideas and learning new things as he's on a quest to make a book. So he's working on a little book. He's learning about InDesign and bringing on guests to kind of experiment and further his knowledge, which is what we do here on Adobe Live. There also is Creative Design. Creative Design, I know that Izzy is working to create a zine all together with you in the chat. So it's a community show all about creating a zine that, who knows, may see the light of day, may get printed, and we may be able to do some giveaways on there, which would be really cool. So you can check those out. We also have the weekday edit with two of our favorite people, Weekend Creative. So they have the weekday edit that happens each, I believe it's maybe every other week, but you can go see all the community shows here in the playlists, get connected, find your community. Each of those meet every week or every other week to just build a community and find something that's relevant to you that you can tune in each week and join, just like
these guys.
Adobe Office Hours. That's right. And most of them do have some Discord channels. We do have our Discord right down here, discord.gg/HCC. It was a mouthful. And so you can go check those out. Community shows are really fun, great times. So the other two that we don't really need to do a preview of is we have on Thursdays, Adobe Express and Adobe Firefly. We are in the studio from 9 a.m. all the way to 1 p.m. live from San Francisco. It's a great time. We show different workflows in Express, Adobe Firefly, using it in Illustrator to Photoshop, all kinds of different workflows coming out. That chat's really fun. We hang out all day together. And then on Fridays, who knows? It's Free Play Friday. We might have some Work With Me segments, but we do have Creative Mad Libs every Friday morning at 9 a.m. And then we have a new show that is an old show called File New, created by Paul Tranny. Thank you so much, Paul, for letting us steal it from you. And that will be happening at the end of the day at 1 p.m., hosted by Ryan Selvey. And that will be a lot like Office Hours used to be way back in the day, recapping what happened to design, looking at trends and things that are coming up within the creative industry, and just being a good wind down and hangout to your week. Yay. We did it. That's the schedule. Those are all the changes with Adobe Live.
All done. laid out for you.
All done. Thanks so much for joining us. Goodbye. No, I'm kidding. We're still going.
Print that out. Put it on your fridge.
Put it on your fridge. Screenshot it and put it on your fridge. So
want magnets on each corner.
Yes. Speaking of Ryan Selvey's File New Show looking at trends in the new year, let's talk a little bit about trends. We got about 15 minutes left in chat. We want to know what. Oh, also, Andrew, if you haven't closed the poll, go close the poll and announce the results on YouTube in the chat.
Cool. Like past Andrew reminding future
40.
Andrew.
Yeah, I know, right? 40 minutes into the. I'm so sorry. Okay. Hopefully it is closed and we have all celebrated and we all know how the polls work and we've got it down.
Yeah.
If not,
what's your resolution going to be?
More polls. All right, so let's hop in. There's a great article that came out. Paul Tranny actually posted it. It's an article over on Creative Market, and it's talking about the trend watch for 2024. So I want to take a look at this, and we're going to kind of walk through and look at some trends and see what we think is going to stick, what we think maybe won't be as relevant, and maybe what we think is going to be, I don't know, maybe fade away.
I've done these a lot in the past. I've covered a lot of them in the past. I've never really liked even thinking about trends for a new year.
You know what? This was going to be a trend watch, but I think that it might turn into a counterpoint. So let's hop in. We do a lot of segments here on Adobe Office Hours. Let's hop into a trend watch and see when it turns into a counterpoint and when Nick and I fight. So it is time for the 2024 Trend Watch.
Let's find out.
Bow. There we go. We're back. All right, so let's talk about this. This is an article that was published on Creative Market about trends. And Nick, let's look into the trends that Creative Market thinks are coming in 2024. The first one is that human touch. What do you think about this one?
First of all, very smart of them to maybe start with this because it's kind of the counterbalance to the AI kind of phenomenon that we're seeing. And I agree. I think even at Adobe Max, we heard a lot of people talk about always include human with AI whenever you're talking, because AI alone just does not exist. It is all human. But what I think this trend is really saying is the things that can't be done on AI, and this is all in your wheelhouse, are the things that you still, I think, need to consider and keep in the front of mind with any project you're working on.
Yes.
Just for the balance, just that, right?
Just know that my finger was on the counterpoints button the second we started that because I thought we were going to fight about it. Yes, this is my number one. This is my zone. I love having a physical means to design and really getting hands-on with it. So I love that this is noted here as something.
No uniformity, messy. I love even just the few examples they show here, I think really kind of inspire me. The way I was talking to you earlier about not being so conventional with design, the number one thing I think to do is what can you do by hand? That's the signature. That's the stuff that I don't think anything else can replicate.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, so
all right, moving on. Number 2, peak surreal. What do you think about this?
So fast forward, let's see. We're talking about influenced by Japanese gaming, virtual reality, surrealism. Okay. Yes, this, I guess, has a new look to it. I don't have a lot of clients in this wheelhouse, I would say, but I can definitely admire this. I don't know if the wording or the typography for peak surreal really represent this well. I think they're talking about the idea of just having some boundaries and going way beyond them.
Yeah,
right?
I think that like the blurry photography thing is a trend now. I know that like a lot of wedding photographers are kind of mad because they want like blurry wedding photos.
Is that what they're talking about?
Yeah, like I think so. Like the surrealness of like stuff looking a little bit weird. I think
the whole Instamatic camera look coming back. Like I've seen people going and getting the instant camera. But okay, so this is
weird scans, and I'm okay with this because it's just weirdness. Like I'm okay with weird. Okay, but Nick, we know my stance on this. We are full. If you have ever watched Adobe Office Hours, you know how much I hate the like translucent glowing luminosity holofoil. I hate it so
Holofoil.
much. I'm so over it. It should not be. Okay.
I'm a fan in packaging when it's done right and when it's done appropriately.
When it's physical, yeah, sure. If it's physical, great. Don't.
It's
Actually,
like trying
hold on.
to.
Hold on.
Oh,
No Powder, Alex Anderson, I think his name is the only person that's allowed to do this because he does it really well and
oh,
looks really
Chuck,
good.
Chuck Anderson.
Chuck Anderson, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let him do it.
Yes, he wins. Okay,
The
so
AI director.
Nick, this is for you.
Well, I'm curious because this is let's see. With
Integrating AI
AI
tools and assistants, many designers imagine the role of creative direction with AI.
I gotcha. This is very true. And I think the trend I've been hearing from a lot of people we've been asking about how to teach AI to students and to the future is this idea that you might be an art director a little bit quicker in your career than maybe prior years or prior kind of generations, right?
Yeah,
Because you are kind of a ringleader and you might be doing something in photography rather than hiring a photographer. So now you are the art lead in that as well. So I think there's something unique about this. And I think this is something to really take seriously is that you should know the basics and you should know all of the real generalist things before you can kind of lead into this and be successful.
yep. And I
You
think
know?
that we've talked a lot about like Firefly being a kind of creative co-pilot. And I
Hmm.
think that this is what that is meaning is that like these integrations with Firefly, with generative recolor, it's something that helps you with your creative process and helps kind of just level up your design, which I think is cool.
Yeah. Well, these
All
are
right.
all things. It's great. Yeah, finding new things that you wouldn't have done because of AI.
Yep.
Sure.
And sustainable aesthetics. Yes, we are
Happens
all about
every year.
sustainability. I know, Nick, you work a lot in packaging. This is like the hot trend, I think, in packaging is
But
everything looking sustainable.
I think it's fake, to be honest with you,
Oh,
because
I definitely think that, yes,
it's a disguise.
I
This is
think that it
all
is very much
a
a disguise at
facade.
times. I
It's
agree.
a
But
facade.
from a stylistic trend, it is in from a stylistic trend.
That's true. But once you get into actually looking into the materials it costs to be sustainable, everyone says no. So
Uh-huh.
you know what I mean? So yes, you can look at, I think you can look at, but more importantly, are the products inside those tubes actually natural?
Yep.
That's the thing I think design can be the face, but the internal stuff has got to match what we do as designers. And I think there's far too many examples where it's not the case.
Yep, I agree.
You know?
And I think that what was I going to say? Oh, I think that accessible design is going to be hot this year too.
Yes.
I've seen like Microsoft has been doing a ton of stuff with their packaging and accessible design with their packaging and being
I
able to
love
open
that
things.
stuff.
It is
Yes.
so interesting to look at the innovations that they're having there. And even with like Xbox controllers and like computer like
Yeah.
keyboards, like some of the innovations they're making to make things accessible to more people, I think is really cool and just like generically innovative. Like it's really
Yeah.
cool to see even as someone who like doesn't have any kind of difference in ability. Like it's really cool to be like, that's just a freaking rad design that helps more people experience this better.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot coming out of CES is happening right now in Vegas, and the technology. If you haven't seen some of the updates, they're all going in that world of wearables and unique things to help with abilities. It's a wild. I'm
Yep.
so happy to see that technology.
So
Great.
next up, we have dynamic by design.
Ah,
Animation makes imagination visible. So we're looking at maybe
very
30% of designers surveyed say animated illustrations would be the asset category growing most in 2024, followed by social media templates and variable fonts. Um,
okay,
I agree. I
but
think
it's
that I
been
see
there
a
for a
lot
while.
of animation on branding.
Well, look at the logo on the top. Just that alone, the explore trends little spinning thing.
Yep.
That to me is those are those little magic things that I love when a website has, because like you might not be a motion designer, guys, but if you can do something like that, and now you can kind of do it in Adobe Express
You're gonna
kind
do
of
a little
really
bit
easy.
of weird stress.
So, didn't last year, didn't we call ourselves motion graphics artists because of Adobe Express?
Yes.
Exactly.
100%. Yes. And you know who
Yeah.
did this really, really well this year? Adobe Max. The
Hmm.
branding studio team, if you're watching this, you did a great job. I loved the branding for Adobe Max and the way that it moved and kind of things floating, just a little bit of animation
Yes.
went a long way with the stuff that they were doing at Max. And the big animations, also amazing.
You know
Like
what
it
was
was,
nice too? The static stuff had the same feel because of when you saw one or two things in motion on screen, but then there was a printed piece, it had the same energy,
Yep.
which I thought was really cool. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so the sixth one, we got about 5 minutes left here.
All right,
The
let's go.
sixth one is signature seeking. Trend is all about coming up with your own trends. Designers are feeling the need to uncover or reconnect with a worldview that makes their work unique. What do you think about this?
I'm all behind this, and that because this is different for everybody. Mine's going to be totally
Welcome to
different for you.
Counterpoints, everyone,
Oh,
a
there we
segment
go.
that we
Let's
do
go.
here on
I was
Adobe Office
hoping-
Hours,
I was
where
hoping.
Nick and I
Wait.
fight about
So
stuff.
how could you not agree with that?
All right, Nick, you go.
I'm just saying.
No, you say your
talk
piece,
about,
and then I'll say my piece. What do you think about signature
everyone
seeking?
should be striving to do something different than a trend or following. Take it away.
I think that like this is becoming, and okay, chat, don't come after me. I will literally fight all of you.
Take your case.
I actually had this realization last night. I saw somebody talking about like, oh, I'm like I just like don't fit into any style, and I'm like coming up with my own thing, and like I feel like you can only ride that for so long. Like this being a trend of like seeking a signature and like trying to like make your own zone. I think that it has become so manufactured and so like, oh, I don't fit in anywhere, so I'm like just gonna do my own thing. Instead of like, oh, I authentically am just creating, and then like it becomes something. Like I think the idea of seeking a signature is like so wrong. I think you just have to create
I get
stuff
what
that you
you're saying.
think is cool.
Totally
And
misinterpreted.
then it like
Yeah.
eventually will become something. Because even this quote, I honestly hope to see fewer designers trying to follow trends and more focusing on finding their unique style, who they are a designer, use it to benefit. We're creative, stop following the crowd. Like I agree, great.
Yes.
But I think that it needs to not be seeking to find your style. It needs to be just creating and like stumbling into your style.
Well, I think you're right. Signature is the wrong word to use.
That's right. 1 point for Andrew starting the new year in
Oh,
the lead
dude,
in
I
counterpoints.
gave you
Andrew 1, Nick 0. Thank you so much. In chat, if you want to vote on the poll on whether you agree with me
Who do you
or
agree
Nick,
with more?
go ahead and put it in the YouTube chat. You can go vote on that poll.
This angry guy over here, or the one that's kind of compassionate and realizing there's a little both in that thing, in that trend. Come on.
Okay. Well, going
should
into
be
the
your
next
thing.
trend, this is my zone. This is all my zone. Brutally bold. This is one of my key core elements of my brand is bold. This, I want all of it. I want it all the time. I want giant type. I want IMAX to only have movies where their title card comes up and it's the entire screen. This is all that I want in my life next year. Brutally bold. Nick, what do you think about this?
It's not a new trend by any means. I don't know.
It's not. No, I don't think it's new.
This is the one that kind of I was a little bit like always there, and we should always have a bit of this. If the brand or the project you're working on needs this, hell yeah, this is great.
And we've talked about this anti-design movement. I hope that it comes out more. I love this stuff that's just crazy and off the wall and like bad design done in a good way.
But doesn't this come from someone doing the trend that we just explored? They tried to do something different. They found a signature, and this brutalism, this vibe works. If no one experimented, this wouldn't be there.
Sure. Okay, so number
Thank you very
8.
much, everybody. That's been office hours.
Yes, hybrid fonts. Nick, we can end on a good note of us
Hey.
both agreeing. Hybrid fonts, we love them. Actually, we love them so much. Yeah, let me show. I think it's this one, Artist Spotlight. You
Hey.
can see we got the little O in there, and then we have that
R
little
is
ST.
different.
We were actually talking about it before the show.
So cool.
It's so cool. We love hybrid fonts a lot. Like, I think Nick and I both are on board with creating these
great
fonts.
examples on the tape. I love those.
Oh,
those
yeah. Look at this stuff.
But see, again, these are all, every trend here we're looking at goes back to the thing about not following a trend, making something new.
Okay.
Okay.
Nick,
we tied.
Nick 1/2, Andrew 1.
We tied.
We'll give you a half point for that one. So thanks for joining us for our preview of what's new here on Adobe Live, as well as a little bit of trend watch for 2024. And just as we go out, here's one more time that schedule. Every Monday is Motion Monday. Tuesday is going to be Graphic Design Tuesday. Wednesday is Photoshop or Lightroom, a little bit of image processing on Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to be live from San Francisco showing you some Adobe Express and Firefly. And Friday is Free Play Friday. Who knows what you're going to see? It's going to be a little bit of everything.
Frida might be there. You never know.
You never know. Frida might show up for Frida Free Play Friday. So thanks so much for joining us. Nick, you got 45 seconds to give us some inspiration heading into the weekend. What do you got?
Try something new. Try something new. Create your own trend. Let us know what it is. Give it a name. We'll highlight it right here.
Yeah. And Nick, when they do that, where will they put it?
Right there in our DC.
Yes. In our DC?
Discord.
No, Discord. That counts. That counts. I'll give it to you.
Discord. Yeah,
that
DC.
Counts. Yes. So tune in next week and every week, 1 p.m. Pacific time on Thursdays for Adobe Office Hours. And come back tomorrow morning for Creative Mad Libs with Cody Bear and Voodoo Val, two of our favorites. You'll see a lot more collaboration between us in the future. And we'll see you next week for another episode of Adobe Office Hours. Bye, everybody.
See ya.